So I'll explore some body language tips for business. Body language tips for business. At the workplace and in business situations, the appropriate and effective use of body language is incredibly powerful to improve your communication and achieve desired outcomes at the office. Throughout different lectures, we've seen the importance of making a good first impression, which is most effectively achieved with a positive, active, and assertive body language. After all, as we've discussed, body language can account for up to 90% of our nonverbal message. Before we spoke about different interactions and the importance of body language, now sort of focusing on business. After all, with body language accounting for up to 90% of our nonverbal message, as we spoke about before we even started to speak, people have already assessed their attitude and feelings within seconds. So within seconds, people make that sort of judgment with thin slicing. The key is to focus on presenting a positive posture and gestures over multiple body parts in a way that is consistent with your desired message. Usually openness, enthusiasm, and credibility. Various management and communication consultants suggest different tips and tricks. We'll sort of cover a few that I've learned through my experience of sort of being a speaker or a lecturer, a coach, and so on and so forth. So starting with an upright posture, back straight, but not too rigid, and shoulders relaxed. Facing the person you're talking to and align your body accordingly. Keeping your legs and feet naturally slightly apart and not crossed is usually a good thing as well. Leaning in a little increases the appearance of a positive and interesting interest and attention. Mirroring the body language that you're observing, which suggests you are in agreement and that you are sincere in your engagement. Keeping your arm relaxed at your sides to avoid any sort of defensive or closed presence. Keep your palms facing down on the table. It projects a sense of authority and leadership. Use your hands to gesture when speaking. It improves your authenticity and credibility with the other person. Always greet the person with a firm and neutral handshake. Adjust the pressure of your grip to the other person's. Be aware and considerate of different cultural greetings and closure prior to your interactions. Use appropriate head tilts and nods to show your interest and that you understand. Utilize laughter and smiles at fitting times to lighten the mood and build rapport. Maintain good eye contact, but use natural breaks to avoid staring. Also, be aware of rapid blinking, which is often a sign of discomfort. As with body gestures and position, mirror the other person's facial expressions, as this is an indication of agreement and conformity. Be aware of your voice tone. Keep it low, speak slowly and clearly, and punctuate appropriately. Take notes without being interfering and disruptive to the conversation is a sign of interest and that the information is valued. Observe and adjust to the other person's body language. End the meeting with a firm handshake and eye contact. Act open and inviting for further contact. Also, sometimes it's appropriate to use a power pose, leaning back with hands behind the head or standing legs and arms apart for short periods when required to boost your confidence. Occasionally, when it's appropriate time or situation, you sort of portray that confidence. Do not check your phone messages or focus on other speakers other than the current speaker. Be mindful of barriers you and the other person, such as a cup of coffee, briefcase, folder. And remember that touching someone on the arm, hand, or shoulder for as little as 1/40 of a second creates a bond. So where it's appropriate, a tap or something along those lines can be useful, but that's only when it's appropriate. To learn true attitudes and emotional states, watch people's feet as they're almost not aware of what they reveal. So patterns of the feet, what they don't do. Occasionally, you can try a steeple when you want to project conviction and sincerity about a point you're making. And be aware of and reduce nervous gestures. Finally, try power priming. a technique of intentionally recalling previous positive experience in your mind to quickly establish a positive mindset that is reflected in your body language. So these are a number of tips and techniques. Anyone, you just cherry pick what's right for you, if it's appropriate for you. I'm not sort of making any suggestions. You know your audience. I'm just relaying information based on my experience as a coach and as a speaker myself, what I found useful and effective. And the key is, sort of keeping in mind, it's all about maximizing the experience of the outcome of a business interaction. Being aware of yourself and the other person. And I think, sometimes it's good to reflect afterwards the meeting to see how things went and skills and what we think we need to improve going forward. It's all about sort of improving going forward.